To all of those above me that watch over me, to all of you, my fave parapeeps on this side of the veil, welcome. This is Reverend Sean Whittington's Paranormal Ministry in Scotland. We're headed there in just a moment or two. Let me take care of a couple of things here. Welcome to my haunted house, my very haunted house. And it's been active today, and I have a feeling it has something to do with today's guest, who can also see and speak to spirit. And a couple of weeks ago, he was watching the show and actually got a hold of me later and told me about some spirits he was seeing here during the show in the office here. So you never know what might happen. Keep your eyes peeled. What do I want to do first? I want to see who's in the prayer urn. Get that out of the way. Okay, grab one. The Robertson family, and I do happen to know they're watching today. And coincidentally, Robertson happens to be a very old Scottish clan name, but this Robertson family lives here in the States. And they just bought a new home. They were experiencing some odd activity. We haven't quite yet labeled it paranormal. Let's just for now call it odd activity. They followed my instructions and blessed and cleansed their home today. And I'm glad they're watching because I know they plan to. If I had pulled their name, they planned on cranking the volume on their speakers up on the computer so that my prayer words would echo through their home. Let me pick a good prayer for them. Okay, this is a good one. This is a good one for them. Okay, if you guys want to add any love and light and positive vibe to this prayer, or if you want to receive any positive vibe from this prayer, you know how to do that. You just reach forward, touch your computer screen, close your eyes and bow your head while I say the prayer. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and the Holy Spirit, amen. And I heard a loud voice in heaven saying, now has come the salvation, and the power, and the kingdom of our God, and the authority of his Christ. For the accuser of our brethren has been cast down, he who accused them before our God day and night. And they overcame him through the blood of the Lamb and through the word of their witness. Revelations. Amen. And the Robertson family, you know the rules. Families get a big candle. I've got one here. Okay. There is your candle, Robertson family. May the Holy Spirit intervene and enter your lives and remain there for the remainder of your journey on to the next. Amen. Robertson family, your candle will sit here with me and enjoy the show till the end of the show. Then I will put it in the room where I have everybody else's candles burning. God bless you. And I know you guys are going to enjoy your new home. Okay, what else do I want to talk about today? If there's anything you guys want to know about me and my wife and our ministry work, go to our website, www.ghost-b-gone.biz. If you go to the website to visit, remember, my wife and I don't charge for our ministry work, helping people with their paranormal issues. So I know times are tough, but if you notice the donate button and you're able to do so, click on it and send in a small donation. I promise you, it'll be appreciated from the bottom of our hearts, and we will put it to good use, I assure you. In addition to being an ordained exorcist, I'm also a certified spiritual advisor, intuitive coach. If you are having issues of a spiritual nature, not necessarily attached to the paranormal, and you'd like to speak to the Rev about that, you can make an appointment to speak with me there at the website. But don't leave without navigating back over to the page called the WSE course/book. On that page, you'll find the ghost store. Lots of cool stuff to buy in the ghost store, like this awesome throwback Ghost Be Gone coffee cup. hats, hoodies, t-shirts, lots of other stuff in there if you go for that sort of stuff. But scroll down to the bottom of the page and you'll first run into, let me see if I have a copy of it around here. I actually don't. I think I sold all of them this week. Well, nevertheless, you'll run into my new haunted autobiography, God, Ghosts, and the Paranormal Ministry. And I quote, the scariest book I ever published. That was Annette Munich, owner of Stellium Books, my publisher. But please don't let that scare you off from buying a copy. I like to think of the book as a very different kind of feel-good story. There's a lot of good versus evil in there where good wins. But the best part about it is, if you buy a copy of the book, one, I know you're going to love it. Nobody's knocked on my door and thrown their copy back at me. But part of the proceeds of every sale of every copy of my book goes to support stjude.org and St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital, Nevada, which is a beautiful thing. And I recently added a new thing to that. I have been in the animal care industry most of my adult life, so this was a no-brainer. I added the ASPCA to that. So if you buy a book, you get to help the animals too. You can purchase the book there at the website. It comes signed by me, autographed by me. Obviously, I'm going to have to order another shipment. But it comes autographed by me enclosed in a house blessing kit. Or you can get it a little less expensive at Amazon. Now, scroll a little further down on that page and you'll find the Worldwide Society of Exorcists, which I am a founding member. I offer a 12-week online college-level course, Introduction to Spiritual Warfare, through the WSE. And this course, I'm not going to teach you how to become an exorcist and perform exorcisms. That's a calling. But what this course will do for you, it's for all the warriors for Christ, those of you out there that feel a calling to want to have the knowledge, to know how to draw your line in the sand, make a stand, circle the wagons, and put up a good fight against, God forbid, true evil if it ever comes calling. This is the course for you. All of my students that graduate get a stunning diploma suited for framing, along with some other very special blessed items that you can only get from yours truly, the Rev. So you can sign up for the course there at the website, or if you want to read a little bit more about the course before you make your decision, you can go to the Worldwide Society of Exorcists Facebook page and read a little bit more about the course. But most importantly, please keep my past, current, and future students in your prayers. Okay, what else do I want to tell you guys? I think that's it. Please, I want you guys to feel free to take part of the show. We have, I guess, a chat room, so to speak, where you can put your comments, your questions, talk to other people. We're all family here. We're all like-minded people. No judgment. Make some friends. Make some comments. Say hi to my guest coming up. This is an interesting gentleman. I know you're going to love him. We've known each other for a little bit. This is the first time we're going to meet face to face. But he is in the country of my ancestors, and it's always a treat to go back there. And I know his first name, and I hope I don't butcher his last name, but he is the founder and lead investigator for Haunted Scotland and a lot of other stuff. You're going to get to know a lot about him when I bring him on right now. Brothers and sisters, live from Scotland, the one and only Robbie Crossan. Robbie, are you there, my friend?
Hi guys, or as they say in Scotland, Ferskin Ma.
Listen, brother, let me ask you something. Did I butcher your last name, Crossan?
You actually got it right. Not many people do.
I'll tell you, I had a hunch I might have gotten it right because I was stalking you a little bit the past week preparing for the interview today, and I looked up your last name, and what a fabulous heritage attached to that. I loved the coat of arms. I loved the fact that it was some of the names were Mick Crossan, which I love, and it means son of the cross, which we've talked religion before, and I thought that was so fitting for you. A lot of history with that name. A lot of people Crossans in Ireland.
Yeah,
So
it's mixed between Ireland and Scotland.
absolutely, but I found that all fascinating, and I'm all ready for you today. I got the 18 year.
Oh, that is a nice bottle.
I got the 18-year Glenlivet. I had the kilt on, but it's behind me hanging up
I
now
can I
because
can
I
see
think
it.
nobody would see it because I do the show sitting down. And here's what I just realized. Well, I was wearing it commando style.
You're supposed to. You're
So
not a
now
true Scot unless you do that.
I can't get up because if I do, I'm liable to start another clan war. So I'll just stay seated for now, but I'm so happy to have you here, brother. If I ask you anything that you don't want to talk about, just tell me, Rev. I'd rather move on off that topic. I want you to have fun because I'm going to want you to come back. I know it's 10 p.m. there in Scotland, but it's still sunlight out, right?
Yeah, Bill, it's just starting to go dark now. It's twilight now.
Very, very cool. Okay, brother, let's get the important things out of the way first. How has your last year been for you, your family, your friends? Where is Scotland now with the pandemic?
It is just starting to come out it now. We're in what's called level zero, which means we can meet more people, we can do more things, but we still need to keep a distance. But the last year has been absolutely murder. I was basically on full lockdown for 18 months. Couldn't get to work, couldn't go out doing investigating, couldn't go out meeting friends. So it was a case of stuck in a house and watching Discovery Plus for 18 months.
Well, Americans, we're stubborn and we all have a bit of lawbreaker in us. And I happen to notice you brought up you weren't able to do investigations. I noticed throughout the whole pandemic, nobody in an authoritative figure who had the power to put the hammer down actually came out and said that ghost hunting wasn't an essential business. So I was noticing all of these many teams still having going on investigations. Of course, you saw them smaller groups distancing, wearing their masks, but they were still having their events. The only thing that really affected over here was the paracons, the paranormal conventions, the paranormal conferences. A lot of those got canceled. A lot of paranormal trips abroad got canceled, but there was still a lot of investigating going on by a
Yeah.
lot of teams. So,
Our main
um,
problem here, our main problem was, is if the police showed up, they would give you a massive fine. You could get up to a £500 fine for each person, which is roughly about $900 per person if you were caught.
well, how's the family doing? Everybody on your team?
Yeah, they're fine. My daughter's upstairs now in a room. Um, my my youngest son is out staying with my oldest son for a holiday, and the rest of the kids are doing their own things because they're all grown up.
Very, very good. I wish I was there, brother. That's all I can say. I knew that once I got you on camera here and started hearing you talk. My goal is to get out there one day. I've got friends and family living
You're
in
more than welcome.
Scotland.
You're more than welcome to take my investigations over. Give me the night off.
Oh man. Well, here we go. Let's get into it. Actually, today this show's going to be easy for me today because I got questions that people sent in to me to ask you.
All
Lots of
right.
people are excited that you're here. Let me jump right into it. Everybody wants to know, and I have to agree, I never heard of the name of your town before. And is it Kilmarnock?
Yep, it means Church of St Marnock.
Okay.
It's Gaelic.
Everybody that talks to me that's from over there argues the Irish friends I have, Ireland is the most haunted. But it has a lot to do with more elemental type hauntings, things of that
Yeah.
nature. I talk to my English friends. They think they're more haunted than Scotland. My Scotland friends think Scotland's more haunted than England. I'm going to go ahead and give my opinion, and I'm going to get some hate mail later. But I have to tell you, I think, if you put my feet to the fire, I would have to say Scotland is
Yeah.
probably the most haunted, and I'll tell you why.
Well, Scotland's actually the oldest country on this island. We officially were recognised as a country in 843 AD, so we're almost 100 years older than England.
Incredible, yeah.
And we're the only country in the world that's never lost a war.
I want to ask you something about the ghosts there.
Yeah.
In my opinion, they're so maybe other people have noticed this too. This is what I've noticed. This is my opinion, for what it's worth. They're so distinctive in their style of haunts. Like, you'll find a lot of ghosts in England, and it's true. Like, you see the old movie Christmas Carol, and they talk about the rattling of the chains. That's a true thing. You hear a lot of ghosts sounding like the clattering of chains, the dragging of chains, a lot of headless ghosts. Then you go to Scotland, and there's a lot of violent haunts. A lot more, whether they're poltergeists or old, pissed off, malevolent human spirits that are lashing out. They're more violent, and there's more of a grotesqueness to a lot of the haunts, where you just see a head, or you just see an arm, or you just see the legs. I find that uniquely Scottish. And I want to ask you something about, whenever somebody talks to me about Scotland, I think of a haunting, and you might know the place. The pink masturbating gorilla.
Never heard of that one.
I should have taken the name down of the castle this is at. It's investigators that I've talked to that have seen it.
There is a monkey. I've heard it. Could be a gorilla, but also it was England.
Oh, you think that one's in England?
I think that one's in England, yeah, because it was on a TV channel not that long ago called Most Haunted, and I'm pretty sure that was in England.
Then you may be right, and I'm not going to argue with you because you live there. It could be England. Now, what about, and wouldn't that be fitting? Now, what about the haunting of just the head, the chieftain that owned the castle? It was overrun. They took him back to England. They beheaded him. They only shipped his head back to the castle. They buried the head in a wall somewhere. So now, all over the castle, the head just appears.
That castle was roughly about 5 minutes walk from my house.
Wow.
The castle's called Dean Castle. It used to be called Kilmarnock Castle. The land was given to the family Boyds when they helped Robert the Bruce defeat the English at the Battle of Loudon Hill and the Battle of Bannockburn. And several hundred years later, William Boyd, who I think was the fourth laird of the castle at the time, he fought with Bonnie Prince Charlie at the Battle of Culloden. He was caught, captured after the battle, taken down and executed. So they returned his head, and every so often you can see his head rolling along the floor. But his head's now been buried in a small kirk just down the road, and it's in the bell tower wall. So they've encased it in the bell tower of the kirk.
Yeah, that's pretty incredible. That would be quite a frightening scene. Do I have the right country now about the clan chief who found his daughter was having a secret affair with a warring chief's son?
That happened everywhere up here.
You think it happened up there?
It happened on several occasions, like on a daily basis.
And this particular haunt, everybody thinks it's like a layered haunt. People can watch the father chasing the daughter in spirit through many different forms of the house, but people have witnessed the full haunt, running
Yeah.
upstairs, going to the room.
That one's more of a residual haunt, or as I call it, the stone tape.
Now, the one thing they don't know, let me ask you another question real quick here. I'm sorry to interrupt you. They talk about, they don't know if the father killed this daughter by throwing her out the window or if she leaped to her death.
She jumped.
Now, why do you think she did that? Was the father going to murder her?
Because she was with child, or pregnant with the man's, the Warren Facton's son. He'd already been killed, so she basically jumped to be with him.
Now, am I thinking of the same haunt where they buried her and the unborn child that was in her in a wall in the castle? And so now you still hear her and the baby, even though the baby was never born, you hear her and the baby.
There's also reports you can hear people, like you can hear scratching from the other side of the wall if she's trying to get out.
That's pretty horrifying, I got to tell you. You know, I would have a hard time, especially what I do now. I would have a hard time investigating those places, to be honest with you, because I'm very, as you are, you see and hear spirit, very sensitive to that sort of stuff, and that sort of stuff would just bring me to my knees. You want to help, you want to try and cross these spirits over, but sometimes I think in the horrific manner that some of these spirits die, there's no crossing them over. And I'm also on the fence with the residual. I have debunked a couple of residuals where I've seen it happening. I intervened and actually changed the behavior of the spirit. What is your true feeling towards the residual haunt?
Well, residuals, as you said, they can change because our energy can affect it. It's like, how do you explain it? It's like someone watching their favourite videotape, then rewinding the same 30 seconds over and over again, so they're stuck in a loop. But if someone like us are there, our energy does something to it, and it basically stops that loop and presses play, and they then become intelligent, and they can see us as well as us seeing them. If that makes any sense.
It absolutely does. It absolutely does. Do you believe, what's your opinion on the way a spirit passes from their living form, if it is that horrific enough? Like a lot of the dungeons and a lot of these castles, people can go down and you still see the tortured souls down there in these dungeons. Do you believe that there's some of these spirits cannot be crossed over because of how horrific it was, the way they passed?
It can take some work, but they can be passed over, but it takes a lot of work and a lot of energy to pass them over. You've got to keep basically gain their trust, use your energy to feed them. So basically, as well as you feeling their pain, they've got to feel your love for them. Then they can calm down a bit. Then they realise, hold on, there's somebody here that does want to help us and give us what we need. And because I passed over a man on, when was it, Wednesday? He was a soldier killed during a battle up here, and his soul's been hanging about for, must be close to about 800 years now, 700 or 800 years. And it took about 20 or 30 minutes. I just talking to him, then you could actually feel him, like he just gave up. He just wanted to go because he was alone for that long. So I showed him how to get there. I opened up the portal for him, and I brought forward his mother so he could see her, so she could guide him over to the other side. And I used a human pendulum experiment for that, where I got like one of my team members to stand, 2 team members at either side there, and she became the vessel for him to talk to us. That's
That,
an old school experiment I like using. They've been using that for hundreds upon hundreds of years.
do you think he has any awareness of actual 800 years passing by, or does it seem like he just died in battle yesterday?
Again, I've explained this loads of times. I think like human timeline is man-made concept to understand the aging process. In the other realm, there is no aging process. So it's like when you mix both together, it's like a bowl of spaghetti. They can go to any point in time and see basically everything at the same time. They can, for instance, if I was to go out and talk to somebody tonight and ask them questions, you're to go to somebody and you go to the same spot next week and ask the same questions to the same spirit. To them, it wouldn't be next week for you. It could be like last year for them or 100 years ago for them. For them, there is no linear time.
So when you see these spirits that have been hanging around for 800 years, they're not at all hesitant to communicate with you because they don't see you as, they are hesitant, you believe?
No. Some of them are, some of them are not. But I've got a habit, depending on where I'm at in Scotland. Scotland's got 3 distinct languages. It's got Scots, which is a mix of kind of Doric, Gaelic, and English. Then you've got Doric, then you've got Gaelic. I speak Scots mainly all the time, but I do know some Gaelic and I do know some Doric. So if I go to an area where I know the spirits speak that language, I'll say some phrases in their tongue to gain their trust.
So you do believe that that's an important thing. A lot of people talk about that it's a universal language on the other side, and it doesn't matter what you're speaking. You believe
because when your body's just basically a bag of meat. When that gives up, your spirit energy goes on, and that spirit energy's got the same knowledge as what it had when, like, the bag of meat was walking about the place. So if they can only speak one language, they'll only respond in one language.
What is going on? Are you still having very violent spiritual poltergeist, malevolent encounters with people at Greyfriars?
I was out there back in June, and we did 2 runs at Greyfriars. We've done one while it was still daylight, and we've done one at night. So the one during the day, the top of Greyfriars, I didn't know because it was my first time there. The top of it used to be a prison, and it was a political prison, so Irish and Scottish prisoners were sent there, and they were put there under the most hellish conditions. A lot of them died in that place. So you've got like a lot of tortured souls trying to escape, but we couldn't get into it because the gate was locked. Then just if you're looking into the prison, to the left-hand side, there's what's called the Mackenzie poltergeist. Now, he was a gentleman who basically sold his soul to the English for money. He hated being Scottish, and as a result of his actions, hundreds upon hundreds of people died, including women and children. And he actually, during it was like one of the plagues that was going about Scotland, there was a poorhouse, and to stop anybody getting out of the poorhouse, he bricked it up, and basically everybody in starved to death. And there was men, women, and children in that place. So when we were going towards his tomb, and the closer I was getting, I was absolutely overwhelmed with, I don't know how many emotions, but it was like everybody that died as a result of his actions just jumped in me, and I felt untold rage, contentment, and utter hatred for this guy. And I believe if he was alive, I would have killed him. That's how I felt for him. And I had I had two cases of tech. I don't remember this. I was told about it, and I watched it back in the video later on. I threw the tech down, went straight for his grave, and I started giving him dog's abuse. I was actually physically trying to get into his tomb. and two of my team members had to pull me back. So the other team members done the experiments round about him and they were talking to him. So later that night we went back in. I grounded myself just so I wouldn't feel those emotions again. So we went up. I didn't do anything. I let the team deal with the investigation, and it was guest teams I had from other countries. So I had people from Wales, I had teams from England there. So the Welsh team were speaking to him, and they said to him, "If you get anything to say to Robbie before we go." Now I won't repeat what he said, but the girl's jaw bounced like a cartoon character off the ground and back up again, because the voice through her voice box basically told me to go away in a language it's not fitting for a priest to hear, and it was in a Scottish language.
Let me ask you this: you have been, you're a very gifted person. A couple of weeks back, I know you were watching one of my shows. You got a hold of me after the show and talked to me about some spirit you saw here in the office. So tell my viewers a little bit about how you realized that you were gifted. And then I want you to talk about your team and introduce your team to everybody.
Yeah, well, it all started again from a very young age, like you. Most people think it was imaginary friends. Every child's got an imagination, so they've got imaginary friends, especially if they've not got any brothers or sisters, so they make up friends to play with at night. It's just that my friends weren't so imaginary, it seems, after all. And then once I became 13, my abilities were confirmed because of an event that happened where my mum and dad were there, and they also witnessed it. So that's when the light bulb kind of clicked in my head, and I thought, there is something here. So I started researching everything I could. I've read up in everything about like the American cases, because everything seems to be Americanized. So like the Amityville case, the Exorcist case. So I went to the library, got every book I could. Then once I started turning 15, I thought, right, I'm going to try it for myself. So me and a few friends went out to a local graveyard, just with like some old school stuff. So we took a Sony Walkman tape recorder, some dowsing rods, and another couple of little bits and bobs, and we started asking questions, and we were getting results. So from there on, I thought, I want to do more of this. So I just kept researching and practicing and opening up. But I managed to keep under the radar until about maybe 2 years ago, when one of my kids pestered me to go online and start advertising on Facebook and trying to interact with other teams. So from then on, it's been kind of a whirlwind. I've met hundreds of people that have got the same abilities as me. I've got a massive friends list now, what I wouldn't think was possible. And I've got a network worldwide. So if I've got a problem or a case I can't solve properly, I can contact like you or Chris McConnell, who was the grandson of Ed and Lorraine Warren, or anybody else. I've got like a friend who stays in England who's an ordained exorcist, just like yourself. So if I get any issues I don't understand because I'm not a demonologist, I'll contact him. Then with my team, I've had different teams throughout the years. So what I do is I'll train people up, and I've now got it in a way where when we go out investigations, I've noticed if you watch Facebook, there's only one person that always does the investigations and everybody assists. I don't like that. Everybody should get their fair share of the limelight. So what I do is I'll do the first investigation, then people will assist me, then I'll let each team member do their own investigation and we'll assist them. And that way we can learn off each other. We can see what each other are doing and take on our own take on it and evolve what each other's doing.
Talk to me about What scares Robbie?
Dolls.
And if there's any places there in Scotland you would rather not go and investigate and put your team in danger? Because I know
Anywhere with dolls. I would go anywhere in the world. I'm one of these people. It's like if somebody sees a spider, they run. If I see a ghost, I'm like Scooby Doo in the mystery machine. I'll go straight towards it. But for me, it's dolls that give me what's called the heebie-jeebies. I hate them with a passion, and I'm sure they don't like me either. There's something about them that just isn't natural. And a few of my friends now know, well, now everybody knows. So what they do is if we go on investigations, they'll hide dolls around about the place just to see, and they'll take bets to see how long it takes for me to scream. But apart from that, nothing phases me.
I'm glad I didn't bet on it because I would have lost money, but I thought you might say unique to your country. Another thing that's unique, many things are unique there, but another thing that's unique is the witch graveyards.
That doesn't faze me either. I've actually got a grey witch on my team, a girl called Lois. She is absolutely brilliant. So she, like each person in my team have got their own unique gift. So I'm learning off of her as much as she's learning off of me. And there is quite a lot, like for instance, the Mackenzie spirit I was speaking to earlier on, he authorised the execution of, I think it was about 60 or 70 women for being so-called witches during the trials. And we've actually spent time in a witches circle at the Edinburgh Vaults as well. None of that stuff phases me at all.
You're a brave man.
That's stupid. There's a fine line between both.
You know what worries me though is you have your gift is on the scale of sensitivity. The needle goes to the extreme end.
Yeah.
So I talked to a lot of people that didn't know that they had this passion for paranormal investigating, for ghost hunting, ghost busting. And I believe that passion, many of them, they had that passion because they were sensitive to spirit but didn't know it. So they go into this field, they find out at a location that they're a target. They are very sensitive to spirit. They're gifted. They have the spirit. They're like the light and the darkness, and the spirits just attract to them. Then they start taking on all of the emotion, and the spirits sometimes jump them, sometimes not, but they start acting out what they're feeling. That can get dangerous. How do you, being very sensitive as you are, and you have team members with you, how do you keep that from getting out of hand?
Well, what you've got to do is make sure your team members are watching you just as much as you're watching them. As soon as they see your face change, and believe me, your face changes, just get them to pull you away from the area. Just walk away, then ground yourself. Just pray and ask for spirit guides. I mean, I don't truly understand. Well, I know they're there, but I don't understand who they really are. I mean, your spirit guide could be someone, a relative that's passed over. It could be a guardian angel. It could be even an elemental. I'm not 100% sure. But all I know is I think I've sent a few of mine into asylums over the years for the kind of things I've did. But just walk away, just pray, control your breathing, and just ask for a shield to be put around you. Then that grounds you, so when you get back in, you're like Teflon, whatever hits you just kind of bounces off.
Here in America, we have the Hatfields and the McCoys. There in Scotland, you have the Campbells and the McDonalds.
I was a Campbell. No, sorry, I was a McDonald. The Campbell was the other side. And I'll tell you a good story about that as well from Wednesday. Because the graveyard we went to was owned by the Campbells. And when I told them I was a McDonald and the war was over, they started swearing at me through the spirit box.
Oh man!
And it was actually one of my team members, Steve. It was him that was doing the investigation. And when the name Campbell came out, he told us what year the church was built. Then he mentioned about like the area we're in, and I said to him, "Do you know I'm from the Clan MacDonald?" And he just basically told me something off several times.
Okay, I want to talk to you about this. See, like here, I've sat down before at meals, and I've had people over, guests come over, and or parties back in the day, and maybe I would somebody would either bring McDonald's or I would have McDonald's there, and maybe somebody would have a bowl of Campbell's soup or something, and if I caught it, I would bring it up. I would say, in Scotland, you two couldn't be sitting there. You couldn't be having a Big Mac and you couldn't be having a bowl of Campbell's Chunky and be sitting at the same table. And people always find that funny, but back in the day there in Scotland, that wasn't funny at all. That was
technically there is some Campbells and some McDonald's that still don't get on together. They don't like to be in each other's companies.
Talk to me about, forgive me for forgetting the name of the castle. If I come there, one of the places I really want to go is the castle where they have the apparition of the piper with no hands.
There's a number of castles like that. It could be Stirling.
It was actually, I believe it was okay. Either the Campbells had it or the McDonalds had the castle, and they had their piper there, and then the other warring tribe or clan snuck up, and they captured it. They captured the piper, killed whoever was there, but a big portion of the clan was out doing something. So now when the clan was returning, their piper somehow got to the top of the castle, and he was playing some type of song which was warning them not to come anymore. The castle's been taken over.
Yeah.
And when the chieftain of the invading clan figured out what the piper was doing, they chopped off his hands. Of course, he just bled to death, but they buried him there on the grounds, like in the courtyard. Like when you first walk in the castle, he was buried under the ground in the courtyard there. So for hundreds of years, people would see this, whether the guy that lives there in the castle and people that would visit the castle, they see this piper walking around piping, but he's got no hands. And then many, many years after that, they were doing excavation, and they found the skeletal remains of somebody, and the hands were missing. Well, they brought a priest in, and they buried the remains and gave it a pauper burial and did a blessing ritual and all that. But the haunting still continues to this day. People going by the loch in boats can see the piper. People that come to visit many times see the piper. I have to go back into my notes and find out which castle that is. I have that sounds.
That's
amazing.
a castle I need to investigate.
Yeah,
I'm going to Google that just now. Handless piper.
that sounds amazing. Here's something else I want to ask you about. My wife is my ancestry, not as far as Scotland goes. Well, yeah, close to the same steepness in history, but me not being born and raised there, you've got one up on me. But I've traced my ancestry back to an actual French knight of all things named Le Fleming, who he was a member of some type of religious sect. I don't know if it was Templars, something like that. But he left France. Rumor has it he had some very important religious relics in his possession. He made it to Scotland. He ended up he was the one that started Clan Douglas. And then
All right.
Clan Douglas was around for a while. There was an offshoot of that family that became Clan Whittingham. And then the Whittinghams migrated south, eventually made their way into England, became Clan Whittington, which is my last name. There's Whittington Castle and Whittington, England there and stuff. But Whittington Castle was believed to have had the Holy Grail buried under it. There's the Lords of Whittington have ties to the Knights of the Round Table. So my question to you is all of that. A lot of people think that that's all made up stuff, but that's not.
No. Our history goes basically back to the Picts, which is, well, there's been people living in Scotland for about 5,000 years. We only started using names or surnames technically roughly about maybe within the last 800 to 1,000 years ago. We started using surnames. Then the reason they started using tartan is because a lot of people couldn't spell, so they used the tartan so they knew what clan you belonged to or what your surname would be. So that only happened about maybe 600 years ago. But everything you just said is true.
I have to ask you about, I've never been, am I pronouncing it correctly, Edinburgh?
It's, no, right, break it up for you. It's Edinburgh.
Edinburgh.
Yeah.
The cemetery there. Many
Greyfriars.
people were buried, or there may even be another cemetery that's near the. There's tunnels there.
That's the vaults, the Edinburgh vaults. Yeah, I was in there in June as well.
Now, what I find amazing also is they had the plague, but they were also people that were being found on the street that they thought were dead were being mistaken for being dead and buried alive. Plus, they were fearful of vampires back then, and they had the plague. So they were burying people with a string in the coffin. So if they woke up, they could ring the bell, and the bell hangs on top of a little.
Well, do you know a phrase called dead ringers?
No.
No. Right. There's a phrase that's called dead ringers. Most nowadays it means somebody that looks like you. They're a dead ringer for you. But back then, it came from basically tying a big piece of string to your toe, drilling a hole through the coffin, and then putting a bell on a little pole, and somebody would sit for about two or three nights, and if the bell didn't ring, they would walk away. If it did ring, they would dig you back up.
Well, I was talking to a friend of mine that lives there not too long ago, and when it's really windy, it blows the bells. Those bells are still there. And so you hear all these bells. So that would just, to me, I would find that so eerie to hear these bells, and you know that the people are dead. You know it's the wind blowing the bells, but it would have to get your imagination just,
Greyfriars has now been reported as the world's most haunted graveyard. As I said, at the night, well, during the day, I went in with a team called Redwood Ghost Hunters, Science Beyond the Grave, and TR Paranormal. Then at night, it was just myself, TR Paranormal, and Science Beyond the Grave. And when we went in at night, we were seeing shadows of children run between trees. We were hearing like dogs inside the graveyard. We were the only ones there. We could hear people talking to each other, and there was no one else there. It's not a place you want to be yourself, put it that way.
What does somebody do if they come to Scotland? Like I know so many people there like you, I would reach out to you if I got there. But what do people do if they want to come there and not just do the tourist thing? Go take the Vaults tour or the Greyfriars tour. They want to do or go to any number of castles that are giving tours. What could they do to try and get together with a real team like yours and do a real investigation?
Well, what I do is when I do public tours, I just don't do tours. I do the full interactive experience. So I take public with me, and for that night they become ghost hunters. But what I'll also do is I'll invite other teams. So, for instance, if you came, I would say, right, come along. Then I would look after the public, the guests. Then I would say, right, you go to a section and investigate yourself. And in a couple of hours, we swap over. So that means your group is getting to do like a full investigation rather than just a tour. Because on August, in fact, next month, I'm taking a group of people, and there's 2 teams coming to Stirling's Old Town Jail. So we're getting locked in the prison for the night to investigate that. So I've split the prison into 3 sections. Each of the teams will take their own section. Then I'll deal with the guests. Then after 2 hours, we swap over. Then after another 2 hours, we swap over again, and that's how it's covered the whole prison.
Well, if I come out, you're at the top of the list of who I'm going to reach out to.
I'll get loads of places for you.
Start writing down where you take me. I'll tell you why. My father's mother was a direct descendant of William Wallace. Now, my wife, I'm going to bring my wife, and my wife is a descendant of Mary Queen of Scots.
That would be, well, Mary Queen of Scots would be Falkland Palace, and William Wallace would be Stirling Bridge, and also Ardrossan Castle, which is about half an hour away from me. He's been reported to be seen there.
That's what I'm talking about. I got to get to a place where either that Mary's been seen and where William's been seen. Yeah. And I believe there's something to ancestral ties in the spirit world. I think many spirits, and maybe you've already sensed them with you and I talking or some of the other shows you've watched. I sense many ancestral spirits here in the home in visitation. So I think, what's your theory on an ancestor going back to a location to investigate or be present, almost like a human version of a trigger object? Do you believe that there's something to that?
Yeah, basically, I think our ancestors, they come back whenever they want, and they'll follow us about just to make sure we're doing okay. Then, for instance, when you do certain shows, I mean, I can't remember exactly what I said to you, but there was a little woman standing behind you at one point.
Yeah.
And she had kind of greyish hair. So it's like that. They'll come back and they'll watch what you're doing, and they interact as well, because a couple of times in your past shows I've actually seen her laughing. So they can't have Wi-Fi up there, so she comes down to watch it live.
I want everybody to know to follow you, because your team is so interesting. Your website is www.haunted-scotland.co.uk. And if you're watching the show, brothers and sisters, I've got it all, Robbie's team website listed everywhere and all the promotional stuff. You've also got a wonderful Facebook page, Haunted Scotland 2020.
Yeah, well, I've just put a link to the website on your comments for this feed. In that, they can find me on Facebook. There's a link to the Facebook page from that.
Okay, brother. There's so many questions here I didn't get to. Let me give you an opportunity to do. Well, I did make a note here. I saw something when I was looking at your About section and your profile. There's another thing we have in common here. I noticed somebody wrote down in your profile, you're a part-time sex god.
That was me done that. No one believes me.
So see, we have another thing in common. And if I did the show standing up today, people would say, "Well, there you go." I'm going to give you an opportunity. I like to do. We have 5 minutes left, and you can whatever you want to say, get off your chest. An opportunity to rant about anything, and it can be um, the butting of the heads with the religious community and the paranormal community, which I'm stuck right in the middle. I have people on this side of me saying, "How could I do what I do?" People on this side that love what I do, but they don't like the religious aspect.
But
But
you've got to do it because without priests, there would be no one to seek help and advice from. Because I spent 2.5 years as a seminarian. I don't know how long you spent doing it, but I quit because in Scotland we don't have the International Catholic Church or the Old Catholic Church. We just have Roman Catholic, and I don't agree with a lot of their theologies. But to me, everybody, like for instance, somebody will say to me, "Oh, ghosts don't exist." But you're religious, aye. Do you go to church? Yeah, we go to church. Well, you pray to a big ghost. So how can you not believe in ghosts if you pray to the Holy Ghost? And that they either start an argument or they just walk away because they know they've lost the battle.
Yeah.
But I'll say to people, if you think like you have an ability and you're not sure what it is, go to a specialist, look through the internet or Facebook, go to people like yourself and just say, "Look, I need support. I've got I can do something, but I don't know how or why I'm doing it." Then people like us can put them in the right direction, get somebody to contact them from their local area, then they can go out with them and train with them. Because I've just took on an apprentice last week. She was out with me for the first time on Wednesday, a young 29-year-old called Elizabeth. She's empath. She has never been able to control her abilities. She has never been part of any team before. So I've said to her, "Well, I'll train you on your spiritual empathic abilities. Then Stephen and Lou can train you up on how to use the tech. Because I'm an old guy, me and technology don't really get on together. So I prefer using my senses, and for instance, the occasional time I'll use a Ouija board, but only on extreme cases, or dowsing rods, or anything else I can get my hands on." She went out with us and she got to experience using her abilities under controlled conditions for the first time, and she absolutely loved it. And she got to communicate with people she wouldn't have thought possible. There was children, there was like young girls, there was men. So anybody out there that thinks they've got an ability, contact your local group or contact someone like us and we'll find a local group for you and get you trained up.
Absolutely.
Because I didn't have anybody to train me. I had to teach myself.
Well, listen, I love you. I respect you. If I was there, I'd give you a big kiss on top of that beautiful Scottish bald head of yours. Do me a favor. You have a prayer, and you were worried that nobody would understand what you were saying. That's the whole point of it. I want people to hear it in your native language.
Right.
Do your prayer that you always say after you've investigated, blessed, and cleansed the location. And after the prayer's done, I will bid you a fond farewell.
Yeah. Well, I'll explain it first so they know what it means. It just means may your house be happy and healthy, and may your friends always be loving. So it's may the roof above you never fall in, and the friends alow ne'er fall out.
Beautiful.
Amen.
Amen. Brother, I'm not done with you. I'm going to have you back. We have an hour is not long enough. I have a whole
definitely
list
not.
somewhere around here. I should have taken the time. Somewhere around here, I have a whole list of castles I've done research on that I wanted to go to and found the hauntings there.
Well, I just found the name of that castle you spoke about with about the piper. It's no leg, no hands. It'll take me a while to pronounce it. It's called Duntroon, the Clan MacCallum.
Okay.
That was the clan that had the handless piper.
I want you to enjoy the rest of your wonderful evening there in Scotland. I wish I was with you, buddy. I will hold on to this. I don't drink anymore, so I will hold on to this until
That'll be worth a fortune in years to come.
I will wait until we meet, and we will open it up together. But God bless you. Say hello to the team for me. Keep doing what you do, and I will be in touch, sir. You have a great evening, okay?
No problem. And good night, all.
God bless you, Robbie.
Orchard math.
Brothers and sisters, one of these days you're going to tune in on a Friday that I'm supposed to have a show, and I'm not going to be here because I'm going to be in Scotland, and I'm not coming back. Got to sell my home. I got to wait till my last beautiful Mastiff goes to heaven. Have no worries or ties here any longer. Me and the wife are going to pack up, sell the home, go to Scotland. She can hang out with Mary. I can hang out with William. I'll do the show from a castle there. Thank you also very much for tuning in. I want to thank my producer, Adrian Hart. That was another reason why I didn't stand up and do the show, because that would have been too much of a distraction for her, and we would have had all kinds of technical difficulties. I love her. She's beautiful. She's passionate. Adrian Hart, one of the owners of Paranormal United Network. On that note, go over to the Paranormal United Network Facebook Live page. Great lineup. A lot of shows there, way better than mine. Check them out. Thank them for simulcasting my show there. Thank you all for being beautiful and supportive and tuning in for the show. I don't have a show without you guys. So I will be here next week. I know I did this premature last week. I announced we were going to be in Australia this week. It's next week. The 30th, Mick Wynn of Latrobe Valley Paranormal Detectives in Australia. That's going to be a great show. So I'll see you all then. Do not get angry. Do not be violent. Give respect. You can't get it without giving it. And on that note, good night, Jack. Good night, Dog. Good night, Harold. Rest in peace. Good night, Ernie. Good night, Bill. Good night, Dan. God bless you all. I love you all. I'll see you all next week. Good night, everybody.